Hi guys, thank you so much for actually joining us on Wednesday evening. Hi, if you guys can actually hear me, do type 1 in the comments below, type 1. So welcome, thank you so much for actually joining us on a Wednesday evening. My name is Jonah. I would like to welcome you guys to our series of interviews to inspire aspiring entrepreneurs. So on this show, we'll be featuring business leaders from various industries and we'll be showcasing them on their experiences, failures, and how they bring their business to the next level. So many of our guests here share their passion and drive to do well, and we hope this will be able to motivate you to step out of your comfort zone and be better because of it. So in today's session, right, we have Harif Rizwan, who is also known as the Green Carpenter. Harif is a designer maker hailing from Kuala Lumpur and founder of the Green Factory, Kuala Lumpur's greenest wood manufacturing facility. So Harif leads his family's 27-year-old furniture making business as a second generation woodmaker and has made over 700 different pieces in his career. Since 2013, right, Harif has advocated for sustainability, crafting, and living, and has transformed his factory into a facility that adopted a holistic approach to green manufacturing, from sourcing of materials, designing, finishing, packaging, all the way down to waste management. So under his direction, Harif's family-run business has realigned his traditional carpentry business to place sustainability at its core, and has since gained various award-winning recognition from local and international bodies for its green manufacturing initiatives. So today, Harif will be sharing with us how he pivoted his family business, what were the obstacles when he first started, his biggest failures, what he has learned from it, and how we can actually improvise sustainability into our own business while remaining profitable. So just before I invite Harif on, right, I do hope you guys can share this and support this session by sharing this to people whom you think might benefit from this. And if you wish to connect with like-minded individuals, I do highly encourage you guys to join our Facebook group, our Facebook 100X Connecting Entrepreneurs Facebook group. This is where we'll be having 2 Zoom sessions every single night from 9 p.m. till late. And we have speakers speaking about everything from health, wealth to relationships, all for free. So the link for these various groups will be placed in the comment section below. So without further ado, now let's welcome Harif to share his story and experiences with us. Yo, Harif, what's up, man? Thanks for actually doing this on a Wednesday evening with us, man.
Thank you for having me.
A pleasure. So Harif, do actually tell us about your background. How was it like growing up? What made you actually decide to join on the family business, and do enlighten us on the thought process?
So since I was young, around 10 years old, I've always been to work at my parents' factory in Sungai Buloh at that time. So during school holiday, people would go to holiday and I'll be working. I used to hate it at that time, but I find it very useful for me now, as the exposure brings a lot of do good to me nowadays. So after I finished my study, I came back to Malaysia and I helped run the family business. And so I did. So the company, we specialize in interior fit out. So we do a lot of large scale interior work like hotels, buildings, houses, and all that. So we also have a wood manufacturing facility where we focus a lot on government projects and also mostly school furnitures. And yeah, so after a few years of joining the business, I started to look into the business, meaning like as the firstborn, I'm the first of 10 siblings. I was supposed to succeed the family business, and I come into the point where I have to decide whether I want to continue or not the business. And at that time, when I see the market, it was like my industry, the wood industry, Malaysia is a top 10 manufacturer of wood product in the world. 2020, Malaysia exported more than 22 billion worth of wood product to more than 160 countries. So the industry is very strong, and Malaysia is known to make good quality products. However, when I delve deeper into it, I saw there's a lot of issues with it. There's a lot of waste being created, and people don't really care where the material comes from. And that year was 2012. Malaysia, we have the highest rate of deforestation in South Asia at that time. So it worries me in how we move forward as a business, because my business deals directly with forestry. And I was a green person since I was young, so it bothers me, and that is when I start to see how we can grow or move forward more towards sustainability. By that time, I don't know what green furniture is, so it's a bit like I wanted to do it, but I don't know. So I just decide, okay, I want to do it. So how do I do it? And yeah, so I started looking for reference. Malaysia at that time, there's nobody doing it. There are few people that just change the material, and then they say it's a green product. So for me, I feel like is that just it? And I decide, okay, let's try it, and then like, because we have a lot of waste internally because we do a lot of projects. So I decided, okay, I want to use wood waste because we have pellets and all that. So that was the first material that I used, because for me at that time, I believe that we shouldn't cut any trees. My understanding is now different, but my thought process at that time was, as long as we are not using new wood, then it's good. So that is when I start the journey of sustainability.
I see. That's interesting how you mentioned like you always had green in mind. You always thinking about sustainability even when you were younger. When you were younger, right? Who was your idols like, and why did you actually decide to brand yourself as the Green Carpenter?
Growing up, I used to read a lot of comics and watch a lot of cartoons. And one of my favorite cartoon was Captain Planets. So yeah, it's one of my favorite, and it aligns with what I like as well. And yeah, so, and also a lot of superhero comics. So I don't really have a person that I really look into. If there is, it's most probably my parents.
I
Yeah.
see. Cool. So how about the how about the Greek Carpenter? Like, was it a name that you came up with at the very beginning, or did somebody actually call you that, or when did you decide to actually go green with your products?
I think it's a bit of both. I think some people start calling me, not calling me the Green Carpenter, but if you want to find something green, you should find this Carpenter Haris. And for me, earlier on, I don't really use the word the Green Carpenter. But then after a while, I feel like, okay, I need to brand myself. And first, because I don't just do woodworking, so at first I don't really choose carpenter as my brand. At that time I don't know what to call myself. Should I put like Haris Green Interior or something? But after a while, I feel like, okay, let's go back to the basic. And okay, when I say carpenter, then people know I work with wood, and so that is what I feel like. Okay, let's stick to that, and then it becomes I make a Facebook group, Instagram, and after a while the name just sticks, and I just ran with it.
Wow, that's very good. How about sustainability within your family business? Because you actually mentioned that the your family has been in this carpentry wood making business for centuries, for many years, and now you actually want to change everything up. How did you manage to convince your parents to be able to do a 360-degree change from like using existing timber products to like using recycled timber? How was that like?
So I was a bit naughty when I first started. In a sense that I have a 4-wheel drive, so whenever I drove around, I will go dumpster diving or go to construction site and pick up pallets. So in my old factory, there will be like bundles of pallets, unused pallets, and my mom used to complain on why am I bringing waste to the factory and all that. Um, yeah, so it started off like that. So they don't really understand, but after a while, when they see what you can make with it and how people actually want this kind of product, so it makes the job easier. At first, in 2012, I started doing recycled wood furniture, and that time it wasn't really people weren't really buying into it because there's issue of people are, is it clean, is it like strong and all that. So there's a lot of convincing that needs to be done. However, nearing the end of the year, uh, there is the trend of hipster cafe.
Yep.
So that trend actually catapult the recycled wood industry to a really high level, where you see a lot of these cafes are using mostly recycled wood. And because we are one of the pioneer, we did a lot of those cafes
Mm.
early on. But now the market have been saturated and there's a lot of players in there, so we don't really cater to them as much, and we do now mostly for houses or projects.
Interesting. So how did you actually manage to convince your family? Was it like you ventured into this and then you managed to convince them later on? Or when you actually first started, you just ran with it? How was it like?
Because I'm a trained carpenter, so I make those things myself. I don't really bother the workers and all that, so it wasn't really a big issue to start. But after a while, when I see traction, I start taking 1 or 2 workers to help me with the products and all that, and eventually it grew to a point where like right now we do both. So we have the traditional manufacturing side, and also we also doing the green manufacturing. But the idea is eventually we will migrate everything to be sustainable, because right now the one that is we are having problem are the projects, because we have to follow the spec. So when we follow the spec, it's all about the spec. Of course, the traditional material and methods are not sustainable, but for us, for our brands and our consumer products, we make sure that the material is green, the coating, the glue, and all that, because we have control of it. But right now, we are seeing a shift towards our projects as well, where we have more, not to say power, but we can propose certain things. So we now try to propose like more greener materials or greener processes in our projects as well. So yeah.
Interesting. Cool. Thanks for actually sharing that, Harif. Like I think a lot of people would actually quite understand where you're actually coming from. You actually prove yourself first before you actually venture into it like that. Like maybe it started out as a pet project, and then later on it became bigger and bigger, and then you slowly transitioned into it, right? So yeah, cool. To everyone who actually just joined us, welcome. Today we're actually speaking to Harif Rizwan, who is also known as the Green Carpenter and also founder of the Green Factory based in Malaysia. And today we're actually talking about sustainability as a competitive edge and how we can actually save the environment while building a sustainable business. So today, just before we actually continue, right, Harif, we do have some new people in the audience here today. So we have King Fai, we have Manchi, we have Keanu, we have Alfred, we have Aiden, we have Keen. Wow, thanks, guys. Thank you so much for actually tuning in on a Wednesday evening. Means a lot to us. So yeah, Harif, my question to you is now that since you mentioned about sustainability, right? We see the bigger brands are actually coming on board also. Like say for example, IKEA, they are also big on sustainability and using a lot of this kind of products, a lot of recycled wood and stuff like that. How are you different from them, and why should people actually buy their timber products from you instead of buying from someone like IKEA?
You know a funny story? IKEA
Yeah.
actually came to us to make their product.
Wow.
Last time, in my old factory. So they came, and then they said whether do you want to make products for us? And because they supply mostly to the world, so it will be more of a mass produced kind of thing. Like they ask how much we can produce and all that. But after a while, not after a while, we decided not to go ahead with it because we feel that that shouldn't be the game that we play, at least for me, because I want to build something that is of value and also of certain standards and my own personal input to it. Because if you do for them, it's just about making for them. So basically, if I make for them, I don't need to think about other thing. I'll just make for them. But you only rely on one customer. So back to the question, why are we different? So from day one, when I decided to go into open market, I decided that okay, I'm not a competitor of IKEA. I'm not playing the cost game and the mass produced game. For me, it's more about design and the sustainability part. We try to make each process in the whole manufacturing and also external factors like stakeholder, community, and or youth development and government and all that. So the way we operate or the way we offer things, we offer high quality, locally sourced and make products. So we use local materials. We use a lot of local staff, and also we promote local culture. A lot of our products have influence of the Malay culture, like our brandings. We use a lot of Malay names, the patterns that we use, the stories that is inspired by the design. So for us, it's about having not to say it's like a cultural brand where we share our stories and our design to the world.
Wow, I really like that story. You actually have Malay elements like your own roots. You embed them into it, and then you actually sell them to the world. So, do tell us about your international clients. How do they actually find you, and how was the process like to actually serve them? Like, I'm not sure. Like maybe before this, it was a bit tougher for you to export. But how did you learn the process of actually exporting the products to them directly?
So we have exported to almost more than 20 countries, some a lot, some a little bit. So we have 5 brands under our company right now. So each brand caters to different kind of target markets and all that. So we have HGC. So HGC focuses on furniture made a lot from recycled wood. We have Dapo. So Dapo is our homeware and gift brand. We have Oran and Bula. These are our fashion accessory brand. We have Nokta Furniture. This is our designer furniture brand where we work with international designer like Japanese designer, Italian designer. And we also have the Green Factory, which focus more on e-commerce. So a lot of our brands we sold under the Green Factory brand. So with these 5 brands, the target market is slightly different in a way. So the channel is also different. So for example, we have Nocta. So this is the furniture brand. This one we do a lot exhibition. So we go into international exhibition. For Dapu, we focus a lot on online. So we are on Instagram, on Facebook, and also on TikTok. Now people are commenting about our TikTok. Yeah, do follow our TikTok at Green Factory KL. Yeah, so we now do a lot more internet kind of digital way of connecting, and so we have from exhibition. These are the one that buy container loads, and then we also have from our social media and online where sometimes they buy parcel or one-off things. Yeah.
So interesting. You actually mentioned like you serve multiple markets and then you market them internationally. You go to exhibitions. So how do you actually how do you market to them? Like, do you market to them on Facebook? How do they actually find you without actually going to exhibition? Especially with nowadays, right? With the pandemic, we can't travel anywhere. We can't go anywhere for any exhibitions. Exhibitions, a lot of them are all closed. How do you actually market to them besides being online?
So during COVID, we actually are not doing well in terms of our export. However, our 2020 revenue is higher than 2019, even though it's COVID. And a lot of those are actually from local and also Singapore. So yeah, the COVID affect our international market because we cannot go exhibition and also we cannot meet people because normally before COVID, I would be overseas like eight, eight, 9 times, different countries. So now when COVID, I don't have to go anywhere. I cannot go anywhere. So that is why it's a bit difficult because previously we work a lot with like physical or offline where we meet distributors, we meet retailers and partners, and we cannot do that online. We haven't managed to do that. But we are now trying to see how we can leverage on e-commerce. Like we are now listed in Amazon US, and we are looking one platform in UK to be on board. And yeah, so we are also going to try to do that for our international markets because it's doing well for our local market. We have our own e-commerce in Malaysia, and previously we do a lot of physical distribution through our distributors, but because COVID, all our distributor affected, so we have to do our own online, and it's been doing well for our own online. So we are also looking to solve that issue for our international market as well.
Interesting, because you actually mentioned that during COVID you managed to pivot, as in you see like, oh, then you actually ramp up on your e-commerce platform. So I see you as a very forward thinking kind of guy. How has this actually translated into your business? As in how was the thought process like? Did you actually go straight into e-commerce because you thought, or you actually had a mentor to guide you through the process, like, or you read a lot of books regarding exporting? How was it like? What brought you from local to international?
So before I even think about moving towards sustainability, after a few years of being in the business, I start to plan out 100-year plan. So that is when I see what would we need to make sure that the company sustain in that period of time. So that is where I see what might be the needs and all that. And one of the things that I formulate is the digitalization of the business. It's always been my plan to make the business digital and focus more on online distribution. But because of the COVID, it expedited the plan. So in a good way, we are forced to do it. And so talking about the 100-year plans, there are also other things that we are going to be involved in. So that is why having that long-term view is good for us, because we know the direction that we need, at least a reference on what we need to have. For example, like I see that in the medium term, we need to have our own plantation even, so that we have our own supply being part of our business. So as we grow, we know that there is a supply for the market and all that, and we need to make sure that it's sustainable, it's farmed properly and all that.
Wow. So sustainability doesn't actually mean that there's no chopping down of trees, but actually it is you plant it accordingly to your plan, because you actually mentioned that you're going to plant trees. You're going to plant trees for the purpose of getting the raw materials. And these kind of trees, they grow very fast. I would assume they will grow very fast, and then you can actually harvest them within 6 months, 1 year.
So yeah, remember I said that early on, I thought that we should not cut any trees.
Yes.
So that was the first understanding, and I assume it's a lot of us have the same understanding, where we feel that we shouldn't cut any trees. That is what people normally think, right?
Save the
So
tree, the
yeah,
slogan.
so yeah, let me show you the science behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, so trees, they absorb carbon dioxide, correct? And then they release oxygen, right? So the carbon being stored and become part of the timber. So the timber is the cumulative carbon that had been absorbed in the atmosphere. Okay, you understand? Okay, and then okay, trees don't live forever. Let's say 200 years lah. And then they die, right? There's like trees can't live like 1,000 years. Maybe there are some, but most of them die. So when they die, what happened to them?
Not sure. They don't. They start to rot.
Okay, they fall, and then they rot, right? So the process of rotting create carbon dioxide, and it also release all the carbon that is being stored in the timber into the atmosphere. So as we all know, the global warming is contributed by the increased number of carbon in the air. So if we let it rot, we increase the number of CO2 in the air, and we don't want that. So what we need to do is, before it rots, or after a certain age, before they die, we need to harvest them. So we harvest, we cut them, and then we make products. So like, for example, we make cabinets and all that. As long as it's in a product format, or in it's not disintegrated, the carbon will be stored in the material. So that is why wood is one of the greenest material. One, because it's the least energy efficient, the least energy used to produce the material compared to glass, cement, metal and all that, where you need to have a lot of energy to process them. Wood is the least amount of carbon emission to process, and at the same time it captures the carbon from the environment. So that is why wood is a really sustainable material. However, there is certain ways on how you need to harvest. For example, it needs to be selective cutting. After a certain age, you can cut the trees. You cannot cut all the trees at one go. You have to do replantation and all that. So this is where PEFC certification comes in. This is where we use international standards for forest wood. And this is why we can harvest from forests, but it needs to go through very strict standard. So we have recycled wood, and then we have certified wood from forest. And the third one is actually plantation wood. So plantation wood, instead of taking from forest, we take from plantation. For example, we are using right now a lot rubber wood. So rubber wood is the byproduct of the rubber industry, and so that is one species, and we also have another species which is acacia wood from plantation in Sarawak. So these are the three main material that we use: recycle, certified, and also plantation wood.
Wow. When you talk about plantation wood, is oil palm considered something that you can use for your timber? Like, is it part of it? Because you didn't mention about oil palm.
So there is research that goes into using oil palm as material. However, because the nature of the tree, that it's not hard. It's not a hard tree. So there's a lot of process and R&D that needs to be done before it can be fully commercialized. So for me, I need for it to be commercialized first so that I can use them. At this point of time, there is not really a suitable commercialization product that can be used for the mass.
All right, cool. Thanks for actually explaining that, Harif. So to everyone who actually just joined us, thanks for actually tuning in. So we have Mona, we have Keanu, we have King Fai, we have Jasmine, we have Yvonne, we have Tila, we have Habiba, we have Mindy. Thank you so much for actually tuning in. And today we're actually talking to Harif Rizwan, also known as the Green Carpenter, and he's the founder of the Green Factory based in Malaysia, and specifically in Sungai Buloh, is it?
No, now we are in Ampang, in KL.
Okay, cool. In Ampang, Kuala Lumpur. So if you guys are nearby Ampang, do definitely pay Harif a visit at his factory. So today we're actually talking about sustainability as an age and how we can use this to save the environment while building a viable business model. So yeah, if you guys have any questions for Harif, right, regarding anything about sustainability, how we can actually use sustainability for your business, do type in the comments below and we'll try to answer them as much as we can. So hi Alex, hi Audi, hi Pauline, hi Mindy. Thanks for actually joining us. So yeah, Harif, just now you mentioned about certification. You have certification to actually chop certain trees, right? My question to you is certification important in business? Like I believe besides timber certification, you have your quality control certification and the lots. How does that actually affect your sales, and when you actually pitch to your future customers or your potential customers, how do they view certification as an impact or important factor when they purchase products from you?
My parents have taught us since young, because we have 10 siblings, right? So it's a bit haywire to manage all these 10 kids. So the way my parents manage is, my mom always say that we need to have system, everything we do. So in our family, we have system, we have buddy system, we have like close system and all that thing. So it helps keep the the family intact. And and also we the thinking also goes into the business. So we have a lot of system in. We have 5S, we have lean manufacturing, we have Kaizen, we have right now we are trying to see ISO 1400. We are also PFC certified. So PFC is a Europe certification that states that our wood comes from sustainable sources. It can be forest or planted or recycled. So this certification, for me, one, it gives me the not the credibility, but I've been talking about going green. So having this certificate shows that I'm walking the talk lah. So that is the first reason personal for me. That is why we want to have a international certification as part of our system, and we had it since 2018. So in Malaysia, for consumer products, there's only 2 companies that have this certification. Us and Royal Selangor. So for me, one, in terms of the customer in Malaysia don't really pay much attention to it, but for international markets, they do require, especially for the markets that we are going into. Because my main markets that I wanted to go are the developed countries, because they understand sustainability and they understand design, like Europe, Australia, US, Japan, Singapore. So they appreciate this kind of certificate. And yeah, that is how for us it's important. One, because it gets us into a system, and two, it gets us into the market that we want to. If let's say we want to enter a different market that might not require certification, then we might not take it. But because for us, we want to compete at the highest level, so that's why we take the international certification.
Wow, I really like how you actually shared. You actually use the certification as a leverage tool to enter into certain markets because they require for it. And there's so few people in the industry, right, that have this certification that only you have it, and only a handful selected people have it. That gives you the competitive edge to bring your business forward and to actually market to international clients, because you listen to where your clients need. Because your clients, right, may not necessarily all come from Malaysia. There are a lot of international clients that they are mainly in America, Europe, that mention that they value highly on sustainability, and they value all these certifications. Therefore, you're actually getting these certifications to actually suit their need, right? So
Yep.
you listen to them what they need, and you have this accordingly. You don't just simply get the certification for your own benefit, but it actually serves a greater purpose. Is that correct or not, Harif?
Just to add, I say that local consumer don't really care much about the certificate, but our corporate consumers do care. Because right now, the listed company in the stock market, they need to do their ESG reporting. So they have to do all the report on what are the things they do that benefits the environment and social and other causes. So these are the things that they are also looking. So in terms of product, if it's certified or if it's green, if it's like benefit to the community and all that, so they will they want that in their reporting. So that is why now it's a good time for companies to actually explore sustainable product and services. And for me, I've been doing it for more than 8 years now, and I've seen a lot of potential growth in terms of our own internal and also the market demand. Right now in Malaysia, it's not the issue of awareness. If we ask around, people know that we need to be green. If you talk to younger generation, they have a greener mindset than us. So it's not really an issue of awareness anymore in Malaysia. And we have a lot of NGOs and bodies that promote sustainability to the public. But right now, the issue is on the supply side.
Wow, cool.
There's two issue, just a little bit. There's two issue that we need to solve. One is availability. So if I want to buy a green pen, can I buy green color? Okay lah, but if it's eco-friendly pen, can I? So if I cannot, then there is a demand, but there's no supply. The second one is affordability. People always think that green products are expensive. It is true to a certain extent, but there are ways to make green products greener. And this is what I have been I've been doing a lot of outreach and talks. It's part of my activism work to have more businesses convert into sustainable businesses. And that is why I'm active on LinkedIn right now. I share a lot of the things that I do. We have a Facebook community called Green Design Malaysia, where we talk about all these issues. We have researchers, academicians, students, industry people, designers in the community, where we talk about this kind of issues, because this is not a one person kind of thing. We need a lot of people talking about sustainability, because sustainability is not just about saving the environment. We always think that sustainability is about saving the forest, right? But it's actually a byproduct of sustainability. So sustainability, there's a lot of element. Efficiency is sustainability. We use less input for the same output. That is a green principle. And mental health, community, culture preservation. There's a lot of things that are part of the sustainable guidelines, and we need to have a lot more people talking about this kind of issues. And this is why we need more people to be part of the conversation and to experiment with sustainability in their business as well. Because especially to businesses, they are afraid of sustainability, because they thought that, okay, for me to be sustainable, I have to have a solar panel, I have to buy a new machine, expensive machines, and expensive material. So this is why a lot of businesses are afraid of going into the green business. But there are actually a lot of thing that you can do that is beneficial for the company. Like I profit a lot from using sustainable practices. And this is why right now we need to make sure that the way we approach sustainability also have to be proper and not really, there's a lot of misconception lah, that we need to talk about.
Wow, cool. So I got so many questions to ask you. And also one more thing that I would like to highlight to our audience here. Just now, Harif actually mentioned about public listed companies actually looking for green products because it is part of their requirement. So to our audience here, right, if you are actually selling a product, you see how you can actually ways you can actually make the product to be certified, or actually increase your practice, or better your practices to get it certified, and then it will be a selling factor to the publicly listed companies, and you might be able to sell and to differentiate yourself from your competitors, right? So I highly suggest you guys do that. Thank you, Harif. If you guys actually got value from that and you think it will actually benefit your business, do type yes in the comments, right? Type yes and actually hit the heart and like button, so you can actually give Harif more encouragement to actually share more with us. So Harif, you actually mentioned about the affordability of this product. You mentioned that it is not necessarily always more expensive to be sustainable. How is that? So maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on the process. You mentioned that it's not just saving the trees, but it is also like the cultural preservation and the sustainable practices that you actually put in place. What other things that you can make it more affordable while still being sustainable?
Okay, I'm just gonna share our one of our thing that we are proud of. So this is a cheese board.
Yep.
Made from bala wood. So bala wood is traditionally being used to make our kampung houses. So it's very durable, very long lasting. So normally people don't make things out of it. Normally they make houses or trucks from the material. But for us, we make products because we love the material and it's really durable. For us, for me, I want to make things that last very long time. So
flooring, right? Timber flooring.
Yeah. So they make decking and all that. So we make this serving board, and when we make this board, so we have additional wood piece here, okay, and we also have wood piece here.
Yep.
So because we are moving towards zero waste manufacturing, we try to reduce the waste that we create or we throw away. So all the wood pieces, normally, previously we throw it away, but because we want to use the pieces, so like this one, this is a phone holder.
Wow.
So this phone holder is from that waste just now, and now this is our bestseller. We have sold thousands of this. So just by the fact that we want to reduce our wood and make something out of it, it become a revenue source for us. And this one, the material is paid for. So it's just the workmanship that we have to incur costs. So for our products, we have the premium brands or the premium products where it's a bit more expensive than the normal products in the market, but because the material itself is a premium material. However, because for me, I believe that green products should be available to the mass. So that is why right now we have a lot of products that are below 25 ringgit, so that people can buy as gift or as they want. So that is where we save costs. I mean, like, it's the same material, it's a very high quality material, but it's because it's part of the waste, we reduce a lot of cost. So that is some of the things that are beneficial, or how we make products cheaper for green products. And also there are other things that we can look into, like if we look into materials, we are looking right now into recycled plastic, where we make it into blocks or planks and we make products out of it. And there are also ways of mass manufacturing. So if certain products, to reduce the cost per unit, you have to make in bulk. So that is where we have to see which works best for each company. I've been doing it for many years now, and I've created a framework of sustainable manufacturing, where we look into all the processes that involve and all the stakeholders that are part of the business, and we try to make each process greener. Like, for example, our manufacturing, we don't just look into the material, we look into the design, the glue that we use, the coating that we use, the packaging that we use, the whole operation of the company. We have youth development, we have community outreach, we have we work with governments and all that. So that is the framework that can be replicated in not just wood company, any company can benefit from it. So that this is why we have to see sustainability as something that is can be adapted by all industry.
Wow, I really like how you actually share that you have a lot of things that you can do just by actually reusing your waste and to make into different products. At the same time, you'll be able to use it efficiently and to help the community and to bring your business forward. I think a lot of people can actually learn a lot of things from what you actually shared. And yeah, just to recap, just to let everyone know who actually just joined. Thanks, Moana. Thanks, Caitlin. Thanks, Chin. Thanks, Yvonne. Thanks, Manchi. Thanks for actually tuning in on Wednesday evening. So today we're actually speaking to Harif Rizwan, who is the founder of the Green Factory, and he's also known as the Green Carpenter. And today, we're actually talking about sustainability as a competitive edge and saving the environment while actually building a viable business. So my next question for you, right, Harif, is what is the impact you want to make with your work? Like you mentioned a lot about sustainability, how people can actually become sustainable. What kind of impact that you want to make on this earth, and when you actually leave behind as a legacy to your children or to the community at large? What would that be?
So one of the reasons I went into sustainability is because I started to become a father. So that is when I start to look more into leaving a legacy or creating a better environment for my kids. And if we don't do anything about it, they might have it worse than us. So that was my initial idea on going into sustainability. But now my immediate goal is to make Malaysia a hub for sustainable product and design. So this is when we need a lot of buy-in from everyone, from manufacturers, from designers, from researchers, from students, and the government as well, where we need to compete. The way we need to compete in the international market is through sustainability. Like, for example, right now, like I say before, our wood industry is very strong. However, we focus a lot on cost and mass produce. So there's very little added value and the margin is very little. You have to make a lot, but the margin is very little. What we need to do is we need to move up the value chain. And right now, a lot of government are trying to, and industry are trying to push the use of design as a competitive advantage. However, if we look at South Asia, we have a lot of other countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, which are very strong in design. It's not to say that our designers are not as good. Our designer might be same or better than them, but they have a lot of government support and industry support. In Malaysia, we have less government support and industry don't really support the design industry. So for them to thrive in Malaysia is not that conducive. And if we were to compete head to head with these countries, we will lose. So this is something that is worrying. And what I see right now is we need to use sustainability as another tool. We need to use design and sustainability as a way to be more competitive. Like for me, I use both design and sustainability to put myself in a blue ocean strategy where we create our own niche. And right now we are pioneering and leading the market. This is what we need to do for Malaysia as well, where we need a collective effort where we try to go into green products and design in a way that has to be done now, where in Southeast Asia, there is no country that is actually leading sustainability. So we need to make the effort to be the first, so that when other countries start to be more active in the green space, we already one step ahead. And this is what I see is important for now for a lot of us to understand. And that is why I created the Green Design Malaysia community, where we discuss all these kind of things so that we can take the step now before it's too late. Sustainability is like digitalization. Now, if you don't do digital, you'll be left out, right? Or phase out. So it will be the same for sustainability. Right now, we don't really see the wave yet coming to Malaysia, but it's everywhere. You see it in the developed countries and even Southeast Asia, we are starting to feel the wave. And eventually it will hit Malaysia, and are we ready for it? Are we gonna decide to do it when it comes, or do we want to prepare now so that when it comes, we already have a boat?
Wow, that's super powerful, man. I really love how you have a great vision, grand vision to actually make Malaysia the hub for sustainability in Southeast Asia. I think that's a grand plan. A lot of people, like if you actually advocate out, and hopefully this video actually reach out to more people, so people know about Harif, people know more about the Green Factory, what you guys do, and the cause you stand behind it. I think with your passion and drive, right? I think there's nothing that can actually stop you from actually doing what you love, but at the same time advocating on what you really believe in. So, Harif, just one last question before we end this session. What is the one advice you would love to give entrepreneurs who actually want to start out their business on their journey, just started out? What would your one advice be to them?
We live in a time where we can make money and at the same time benefit the environment and people around us. There's no other time than now. Before this, businesses is all about taking our resources, maximizing profits and all that. But now we have enough knowledge to be profitable, to have a good workforce, and to contribute to the society using our business. And that is why we are seeing a lot of social enterprise are blooming in all over the world, because previously all these social and environmental issues are being done by government or NGOs. And this NGO, for example, they need money from donation for them to do work. So what the new age activism is, we go to where the money is, which is the capital system. The capitalist system are normally being seen as the enemy of social justice and environment. So we went into the capitalist system, we do a business, we make money out of it, and we contribute to the society. Like how right now we have people who work with refugees, we have people who work with environment, we work with single mothers, we work with orang asli. They make business, so they don't rely on donation from people or government, and they can do good. And it's not just part of a CSR, which like MNC are doing it, it's part of the business. And this is the new business model that we need to adopt. And this is the way we should move forward.
Wow, very, very powerful words there, Harif. I really liked it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the end of our session. Thank you so much, Harif. Thank you for sharing so much wisdom and so much passion. We can actually see your passion in what you actually do. This is literally what you mentioned. What this show is all about is actually to encourage more people to follow their passion and to actually go into something and to really believe in it. For yourself, is sustainability and the responsibility to actually uphold to make the environment a better place, to make our people to make a difference, right, in our society. So thank you, Harif. Thank you so much for actually doing this today. And to our audience here who actually stay till the very end, thank you so much. We have Caitlin, we have Chin Hoi, we have Mona. Thank you so much for tuning in. He actually mentioned green tech is the way, and he loved this show. Thank you. It means a lot to me, man, Mona. Thank you. And Yvonne, we have Manchi, we have Alex, Audi, Pauline, Mindy, Habiba, Tila, we have Jasmine, Keng Fai, Keen, Keanu, Mona, Aiden, Alfred. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for actually commenting and actually stay till the very end. So, Harif, just one last question. If we want to get in touch with you, what is the best way and how can we actually do it?
So I'm active on LinkedIn, so at Haris Green Carpenter. Also on Facebook, I'm active with my community, which is the Green Design Malaysia community. So do connect with me on both platform and see you there.
All right, cool. Thank you. And that's all the time we have for today. And if you guys wish to connect with like-minded individuals who want to learn and grow together as an entrepreneur, I do highly encourage you guys to join our 100X Connecting Entrepreneurs group. This is where we'll be having sessions like this, and we'll be sharing about different speakers just like this, and you can tune in every single night. All right, thank you so much for your time, Harif. Thank you everyone for tuning in. That's all the time we have for today. I really appreciate it. Until our next week, next session. Good night, guys. See ya.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Harif.